What's going on, everyone? Vampyr Gaming here, and today we have a ton of news, a lot of reveals that just happened. So in today's video, we're going to talk about all of the leaders that have been revealed in OP13, the third anniversary set. So we're going to talk about that, but before we do that, there was also an announcement of a ban list, and we will talk about that as well. So be sure to stay to the end for that. And if you're new to the channel, I create One Piece content for the both competitive and everyday player. If you're looking to elevate your game and learn just a little bit more about the One Piece card game or stay up to date, be sure to do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. It helps me out a lot. Over 77% of my viewers are not subscribed. So if you could do that, I'm racing to 10K. And let's go ahead and jump in because there's some huge things. I actually cried, chat. So we're going to kick things just straight off the gate. OP13 Ace, anyone who is familiar with who I am on YouTube, if you're not, I had a generational run on Ace back in OP04, and I've been praying for a good leader every day since. And so here we have it. OP13 Ace, Red Blue leader, which makes sense. There's both red and blue, and we just got the new Newgate cards, and we'll talk about that overall. And then we have 3 life, 6,000 power, so he's a 6K leader, which is huge in my opinion. I think that, 6K leaders are just inherently strong, and it's about time we got one that wasn't Monkey D. Luffy. But I also felt like he should have had one just because Newgate had one. Anyways, on your opponent's attack, once per turn, you may discard 1 card from your hand, give up to one of your opponent's leaders or characters minus 2,000 power during this battle. So let's kind of talk about this. This enables a lot of different plays. So before, you had Crossfire, which was an event a lot of people got really excited about as well. One of the things that this card can work with is just top of mind, Red Hawk. So you can pitch 1 card, then Red Hawk KO a 6K. It's pretty crazy. And so like there are going to be niche. I don't think that that's necessarily a good play these days, but it is like a possibility. There are things that you can combine this with in terms of just red cards. So I think that this is actually quite strong. And then you also have Dawn X1 once per turn. When you take damage or when your character with an original power of 6,000 or more is KO'd, draw a card. Now here's why this matters. So they announced a new Marco. They announced a new Marco in PRB, which is support for this. He's a 4/6, and then on KO, draw 2 cards. This leader ability, draw another card. So he's on KO, draw 3 cards. On KO, draw 3 cards. Just let that sink in. On KO, draw 3 cards. That's pretty busted, right? That sounds phenomenal. Okay? So I am fired up because we have this Marco. It's PRB 02. I actually, funny enough, I don't have him listed in the video for good cards, but because there's so many. But just let that sink in. It's like it can be your blockers. It can be your blockers. You can block, replace that card. We have Nami, which we will talk about, but there's so many different things you can do. And then if your opponent needs to take the board, like, you're going to regenerate value. So if your card already replaces itself, then it's going to double replace itself, and you're going to actually go +1. So it creates a lot of unique opportunities, and like, there's going to be bodies that they're going to feel threatened by, that they're going to want to remove, then you get the draw card. Fantastic. Fantastic. I absolutely love this. So the big thing that I love about this leader too is one thing, and I feel like a lot of people might not understand this wish, but I've always been like, man, I wish we had a red pudding. This is the exact leader we need. 6K for the aggro. All of the best Whitebeard rushers. And now we have pudding. If red had pudding, I would have destroyed so many people. Now you have to play around pudding and red aggro with some of the best aggro cards contributing to this deck. Some of the best aggro cards. I literally cried when I saw this. I literally cried when I saw this. Now, don't get me wrong. The other leaders are actually kind of just Hannah Bananas. But this leader is very good. Don't let anyone tell you. This leader is actually incredibly good. on paper. So I'm so excited to start cooking. But yeah, let's go ahead, kind of talk about good cards. So one of my classics back in the Red Ace days, the best combo was Flame Emperor Newgate. You play Newgate on 9, you Flame Emperor, KO a blocker, swing like 9 at face. They either take or give you 3 cards, and then you go Newgate. And so you can go even harder. You can commit all of your Dawn, go Giant at the face, go a Newgate, and then like potentially follow up with like a Pudding. So a lot of nasty things you can do here, and it commands a lot of cards. Again, like you can do these combos. You could even go Flame Emperor. They take both, and then the next turn go like Pudding and play another Rusher. Like you can apply so much pressure that you just couldn't before. And then like you putting them, they're slim on cards. You go Flame Emperor into Newgate. A lot of potential here. And then Newgate makes your leader an 8K. So we're 6K, now we're an 8K in a 7K leader meta. So I think that also comes up a lot. And then, of course, we have like the rushers again. So we get some of the cool cards. We get this Portgesty Ace, which was one of the best card in pretty much a lot of decks. And it made Red Ace good because it says literally you can play this card. Because you could play that card. And so this card, in my opinion, I think it's so back. It's an incredibly strong rusher. It allows you to also control the board. So the cool part about this and what made it so good, back in the day, people play a lot of 5Ks. We don't as much, but it allows your like small characters to swing. So like your searchers, your Ezos, and you can play both Ezos. There's a blue Ezo. So you can play both Ezos if you really want. A lot of opportunity here. And then you can swing those, like, or attach one Dawn swing into something, command cards, and then you don't have to, like, necessarily, you know, turn your bigs sideways, which is pretty good an overswing. Then we, of course, have this new Ace, and there's so many good cards. Because the leader ability, you can play the 5-cost Rush Luffy that gives a Dawn. Boom, abilities live. But then you also have this one that just can't be removed, and he's got counter and he's rush. So again, we get to play some of these best rush cards. I also think unblockable Luffy, because then they want to remove or feel pressured to remove unblockable Luffy, you draw a card. A lot of cool combinations here. And then we've got Nami. Again, you know, we talked about the Marco blocker. Marco blocker on KO, draw 2 cards. This Nami says if your leader is multicolored, draw 3 cards. So we're going to draw 3 cards. Stack 2, and so it also, if you potentially enable some of the stack plays, I don't think the Whitebeard Newgate cards overall are great for this deck, but it could be. If you play an all Whitebeard build and you just blind on the 9 Whitebeards, you could very much get there. And then he regenerates value, and he has double attack. So I think there's a lot of, I'm so excited. I like Batsu, put this in right now. I mean, you can hear it. This is probably the leader I'm going to rant the most about, but there's a lot. And so, yeah, Nami, and then you counter, or you block, and then you draw a card. Now let's go ahead, jump into Sabo. I gave Ace his moment, but this leader is also, I'm actually incredibly excited about this leader as well. Red-Black has never really had a great color combination in terms of their synergy, but we do get a bunch of new Revolutionary Army cards in OP12 that work really well with this leader. And why this leader is so good is so it's like Eustace Kid from the structure decks, but what he should have been. So he's 5 life, can attack, 5 life, and he can attack. Dressrosa Revolutionary Army, so you could use stage if you wanted to. If you have 4 or more cards, give this leader -1,000. Or 4 or more life cards, give this leader -1,000. Same thing as Eustace. You have to go down, and then you get it. But then you become a 6K leader. So he's 5 until he's a 6. So he's a 6K 5 life leader if you really break it down. And then he swings for 7. So Dawn X1, if you control a character with a cost of 8 or more, your leader and all of your characters gain +1,000 power. So there's that red aspect. So we get a buff from the black aspect in those cards, but every character gains +1,000 power. It's organic. It's there. It's evergreen. It isn't your turn, it's just always. So all of your characters just became a lot harder to remove, and a lot of the Revolutionary Armies are usually like 5 stat line. Now they're a 6K Karasu that you have to try to swing into to remove. Your leader's a 6. You're swinging a lot harder. You're swinging 7 with lead. You got Karasu there, 4. There's a lot of opportunity here. Let's talk about the cards. So you got Monkey D. Dragon. Attaches to Dawn, fulfills the Dawn requirement, and then you get the swing face, and then he's a 10. So then you're going 8-10. Huge. And then you have Karasu. You play Karasu, again, -1,000. The Revolutionary Army is one of the best text lines on a red. And then, yeah, and then when he attacks again, so he's swinging 6 in the 4 with the ability, presuming that you have something to meet the requirement. But here's one of those black cards that we're talking about, Karasu. If your leader has the Revolutionary Army type, this character gains +3 cost. So you play him on 5, he's an 8. Boom, leader met. Attach 1 Dawn. When attacking, if your leader has the Revolutionary Army and your opponent has 5 or more cards in their hand, trash 1. So this cycle right here can just be vicious already. Can be vicious because you're going 7, 6. Your opponent trashes a card, they're a 4K. Disgusting, right? I think this leader is also incredible. Like there's so many good things that you can do, and then they're gonna take a lot of pressure, and these are just gonna hit like brick trains. And then we also have a whole nother section of these too. All the black ones for the most part in OP12. You got Morley. If your leader is Revolutionary, he's a 2K, and then yeah, just gains 4 costs. So you can play it just to meet the requirement. Same thing here with Charles Lindbergh. If your leader has a Revolutionary Army type, gains +4, and then on play you get the cycle one. So very strong there. You play this on 5, boom, 8, boom, 6K leader. Or it could be 5, depending on how you've taken damage. So, but late game, 6K leader. And then you have Dragon, which is just the GOAT. Because then you get to play 3 Revolutionary Army cards from the trash. And then if you have a Revolutionary Army leader, play up to 1 character with a cost of 6 or less from your trash. Now, 1 character card with a cost of 6 or less. It isn't type locked. You can play like the Nico Robin, and then Nico Robin potentially trash 2 cards. So you trash 2 cards, Karasu trash a card, boom, you're a 4K. A lot of nasty opportunity here on a 5 life leader. 5 life leader. That 1 life matters so much, and then you're a 6K. You're a 5 life, 6K leader, essentially, in the late game. And like it's just because you have the cards of a 5. The cards matter so much, and you have a lot of these really good plays and a lot of really good cards coming from OP12. Let me know. All right, we're going to briefly talk about this leader. This one has already been revealed. I've kind of already posted it, but if you're new, it's a Luffy leader. He's red-green. We all assumed that the color in common would be red, so it's a huge red set, but it seems like Luffy is getting the bulk of the red instead of the green. And then all the other ones, presumably, their colors, so we'll get blue and then black for Sabo. If your total active Dawn is 5 or less, when your opponent attacks, if you have 1 Dawn attached, if your total active Dawn is 5 or less, you may rest any number of these Dawn. For each Dawn rest this way, you can give one of your Straw Hat type characters plus 2,000 power for this battle. So you can essentially float 10,000 and counter. You can have 1 card and counter out of lethal with this. Because you can just go 15, pitch 1, 16. Think about that. It's huge. I think it's going to bring a lot of value to all the restanders. Cabbage Patch, Eroge, all of those. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and jump into Rogers. So let's talk about this because I think I want to spend a decent amount of time talking about this as well. Because there's a lot of unique things here that I feel like we just don't fully understand. And yeah. Gold D Roger, purple leader, 5 life, 7,000 power. That's broken. This leader shouldn't exist. They're going to put him on the ban list. But he's King of the Pirates and he's Roger Pirates. If you have Dawn on your field, give this leader 1 of your Dawn cards that would be added during your Dawn phase. So what this does is it's like their way to regulate this leader, and it's them saying your curve is off. So no matter what, you have to play behind a curve, essentially. So your 4 is a 3, your 3 is a 2. So you can't necessarily play like a Zoro on 3. You have to wait some more. And so like I think the design behind that is to prevent him from being able to ramp, but also being able to play these stronger characters into that curve. So it's almost like if you want a first curve, you have to go second. And so it kind of just throws off your tempo, but then he gets the swing. And then, so here's the real kicker. While you have 9 or fewer Dawn on your field, this leader has minus 2,000 power. And so the biggest thing is, it says if you have Dawn on your field, give this leader 1 of the Dawn cards that would be added during your Dawn phase. So to me, and a lot of people are talking about this online, that means on your way up to 10 every single time. Once you hit 10, your refresh phase wouldn't add any, which means you wouldn't give him 1 because there isn't any that would be added. Now, if you used a character that minus 1 like Lin, that would come back into play. And so then you got to once again do that. Or like, you know, Queen. Any of those purple cards that do a -1, then it's going to do it again, and you're not going to be able to play a 10 Dawn turn. However, I believe once you hit 10, that you don't attach anymore. And then he becomes a 7k leader. So while you have 9 or fewer Dawn on your field, this leader has -2000 power. And so once you get to 10, my understanding is then you're battling a 7k leader. Let me know what you all think. But, I mean, like, it's 5k. It's 5 cards. So, again, like, it's the same theory of Eustace Captain Kidd. And it's the same theory of any leader that, like, buffs themselves. Like, PB Luffy. You just take the hits because it's easier to counter out of later. Because you're going to be a 7k. And so, being a 7k, I mean, 5 is, this is just crazy. Like, he can attack, and you get to become a 7k. They literally just printed the King of the Pirates. Now, a lot of people are thinking that having 1 Dawn attached doesn't count as having a Dawn in your field, and then so that he has to continually attach every turn, regardless. So then you're just at 9, you have to find a way to deattach that one. I don't believe that that's the case. I think this leader is just Hannah Bananas. Second you hit 10, you're in a whole new ball game, and we're all going to be in a Gold D Roger meta. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I don't think we have complete clarity around this yet. And I know there's just a lot of questions. I think it's just my thoughts. You lose a Dawn, essentially, for your curve until 10. Once you've hit 10, you're still going to 10, still counts. Once you've hit 10, then you're just 10k, 7k leader. But let me know your thoughts. And are you going to play this? So let's go ahead and talk about some good cards, right? Zoro. So you're on your 4. When you go second, you can play this on 3, get that ramp. And then you can play Bonney. And then Bonney is also really good. I imagine the mirrors are going to have some tanky bodies. So this is the best purple card for that. Your opponent plays a big body. You just get to play 2 of these. Now you have 2 big bodies that you just played for cheap. And yeah, Zoro just for the ramp. And then Newgate. Newgate gives your leader plus 2000. So guess what? You go to 9. You go to 10. And then potentially your 9k leader with a Radical Beam. 9k leader with a Radical Beam. Gum Giant who. Like, with that in mind, though, I mean, it literally just makes me think Gum Giant ain't that bad. But let me know your thoughts. Because we have a confirmed ban list coming. But, yeah, I think Edward Newgate is going to be a really good card. If you're picking up any TCG singles, by the way, be sure to use that link in the YouTube video description. And yeah, let's go ahead and talk about Bonney. We've got 5 life, 5000 power, yellow, Egghead, and Bonney Pirates. On your turn, once per turn, when you play a character with trigger, you may activate this effect, give up 20 of your leaders or characters to Rested Dawn. So pretty basic here, but we've got some pretty good trigger cards. First card that comes to mind is like Onami, and then of course just being able to be a little bit more aggressive. We also have a whole Egghead structure deck coming with Luffy. I believe this for the US. It's going to be January 2026 is when we'll see that, I believe. It could be February, but it's 2026, so quite a ways away, but we're going to see this end of 2025, so they won't be too far apart, and I think this deck could see a big buff then. But yeah, good cards. Onami, you play this on 3, you get to attach 2 swing 7. It's pretty good. Banish, 7 banish, right out the gate. So just being able to make Onami essentially be attached Dawn and gain banish is very strong. And then of course you have the trigger as well. And then you have Nami here too. So you can play this Nami, just get some removal and then get that extra Dawn to be able to swing a little bit more aggressively. So you play removal and get a little bit of aggression. And then we look at Kikunojo. Kikunojo probably being one of the strongest just organic plays here. We're going to go on KO, you know, if you have 3 or less life, place a card on top of your deck. So you play this once you're low or even just early and they're forced to remove it, or then they can just never remove it. And yeah, trigger, you get to play it. So you can trigger it, play it, and then that's cool. But also during your turn, if you're on 4, you play this swing 7, hits like a brick train. Let me know. Are you looking forward to Bonney? Now, let's kind of talk about it. So I think, and this is just me speaking cope, right? I think Ace is phenomenal. Do I think the other leaders are absolutely Hannah Bananas too? Yes. Yes, I do. And it's because, well, they are. So it's all going to really come down to support. But I think all of these leaders are potential meta leaders. Sans maybe Bonney. But, like, you know, I mean, P-Kid, same thing. It is what it is. I mean, and he was pretty good. So you have, like, the uses. You have all... Yellow has great cards overall. And you have a slightly aggressive ability. It's going to depend on the support in terms of Bonney. But I think Luffy, Sabo, and Ace all have incredibly strong. I would give Ace, like, 10 out of 10. Beautiful. Thank you, Bandai. But I think overall, I mean, I give him like a 7. Same thing with like Sabo. I give him like an 8 out of 10. I think he's incredibly powerful. He's a 5 life 6k leader, which I think is completely underrated. And you have all of the new and very powerful Revolutionary Army cards. And you have both Karasu. You have cards that drain their power and drain their cards in hand. If there isn't removal or we're not in a removal format, you're in for a very bad time. And then Roger. I mean, if Roger works the way I think he does, we're just entering into a Roger meta. Get ready to play Roger mirrors because you're playing a 7k 5 life leader. You take all the hits early, you just tank up at the end and beat the heck out of each other. I think it's that simple. So, very intriguing. I mean, he's 10 out of 10 in terms of like total card design. I think he could be potentially unhealthy. And yeah, Bonnie's okay. We haven't seen Emu yet. So we don't know. I wonder if they're waiting a little bit longer for that to kind of like align with the anime maybe, or align with the manga a little bit. It'll be really interesting to see why we haven't seen him, but we've seen everything else. But let me know, which leader are you most excited for in OP13? And then, of course, as promised, as mentioned, so they confirmed a ban list. A ban list is coming August 2025. It is, no date has been announced, but they said, so what they said is a update to the limit and forbidden list, something along those lines. Now, here's why that matters a lot. One, us here in North America have Nats in September. And this also matters because the last time that they did one of these, it was RP Law for us going into OP7. And it took effect in OP7. So Legacy of the Master doesn't release until August 22nd. And come August 22nd, that's pretty late in the month. My prediction is that we're going to see this like August 15th, August 16th, the weekend before, and it's going to take effect. It's going to take effect for their new set when they go into OP13, and then it'll take effect for us going into OP12, which can be... We had this happen the last Nats, and it caused such a problem because everybody was practicing something, and then we got hit with a ban, and I was like, well, now that deck is worthless for Bandai Card Fest. So... TBD if they make it like an OP13 or if they just make it effective, which like they did with Law, they made it effective the moment we went into the next format. So, and we're going into the next format during that month, which could cause a shakeup and really mess up people's Bandai Card Fest plans, which is essentially our nationals. But there is confirmed one. We don't have a date. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date. And I will see you all in the next one.